Foye, welcome to London, first of all. Like, it's not your first time over here, but how much are you enjoying the trip?
I enjoy it every time I come. I love the city. I love the energy in the city. And it's like getting to see new things and experience new things every time I come over here.
We've spoken a little bit about, sort of just before we started recording, about your love of sport. Like, how do you find, not NFL first of all, but kind of us over here in the UK, our love of sport? We've got cricket on at the moment, and you even knew what that was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so many different ways to be an athlete in life, I guess. So I definitely appreciate like all walks of athlete, no matter what the sport is, especially if it has like a ball in it, coordination and everything. Like, there's always ways to prove your coordination. But yeah, I mean, I grew up playing so many different sports, so I appreciate a lot of them. You guys is football. You know, my parents are Nigerian, so I grew up playing soccer first, and then played baseball, basketball. Football is really one of the last sports I really started playing organized and stuff. So any sport, like, that's always been my hobby outside of like school and stuff, is just getting around people playing sports. So I appreciate any time I see it, I'm gonna watch it.
And how much, sort of, you said you were sort of late to football, your football, as we call it. What did you play before? How much did you like really enjoy it? You mentioned soccer, and
yeah, oh man, I mean, people don't believe it because how big I am now, but I grew up, me and my team, we were one of the top teams in the country, Little League soccer, I guess. So we traveled all across the country playing tournaments and stuff, and eventually they wanted, like by high school, they wanted us to dwindle it down to like a club team, kind of getting it how you guys do over here. But I played so many sports, I was like, no, you can't make me stop playing sports. And because it was like fall was soccer, winter was basketball, spring was baseball. So they wanted me to just play soccer full year round. And by that time, I had just, started budding in other sports as well. So I couldn't do that. So I actually chose, because of that, my brother kind of went through the same process. He chose to play football in high school 2 years before me. So I just chose the same route, and then luckily it worked out.
Yeah, you're doing all right for yourself now,
doing
right?
All right.
Just take you back a little bit to London with the Jags over here. Obviously, the Jags on the prowl this weekend. Like, how great to be able to reach out to fans in the UK as well. I've been to a couple of those events over the last couple of years. They're so well attended, and the Jags fan base is really growing in the UK.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing all the kids enjoying themselves too, and just reaching. The sport reaching them at a much earlier age. I remember last year, I was very shocked to see how they could just pick up a football game and start playing like what we would do at recess, the two-hand touch, 7-on-7 football. They knew how to throw the ball well, catch, run. They put it away. Like, they knew the techniques as young kids, which I thought was crazy development, I wouldn't think that they would have it so early. But then, the events that we do out here are good for the families and stuff, a lot of family fun, keeping the fun around the sport, and kind of growing through that. So it's just really cool to see how much it's expanding out here through this Jaguars event stuff.
Yeah, I think what we've seen certainly over the last 10, 12 years in particular is like a real grasp of like proper NFL, not just like kind of London, look at the London buses kind of thing. But yeah, you guys come over here and there's like a real proper fanship now, not just from the Jags, but across the league.
Right. The games are packed. They're yelling. They're getting good energy and stuff, which is crazy to see. And they know what they're yelling for. I think that's really cool to see as well. Not just, coming to watch a show, but really understanding the game and, being a fan that way. So I think it's just, definitely an honor to be a part of, growing the game over here, but just always cool to see it growing itself.
You mentioned your parents are Nigerian. We've got Australia coming down the track in terms of another international game. Mm-hmm. How are you guys as players dealing with that sort of global expansion of the league?
How do I deal with it? They tell me where to go and I go play.
Yeah.
No, I think it's like a blessing. Like I said, it's an honor to be able to go over and keep growing the game that way. Obviously, when I'm done and retired and I look back, 50 years or, 20, even probably 20 years, and see how much it's grown to be a legitimate sport in hopefully all the continents, I'll just be able to say, wow, I was really a part of, growing it that way. But it's definitely a blessing to be able to go experience new places and play the game in front of people and have them really enjoy and appreciate the game as well. Kind of how I could go and watch cricket, like you said earlier, like them seeing the game, enjoying it, and saying, oh, maybe I want to get into that. That's really cool to think about.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, does it? Right? Australia have been added. We're going to have Madrid next year, and there's just more and more further down the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
As for the Jags, obviously, like a bit of an off season of change so far. Liam Cohen in as head coach and James Gladstone as GM. How have you found those two guys? What's been your early impressions of them?
I think they're passionate and they're working hard to get what they want done. It seems like they have a good energy. They're younger guys, so I think they're very driven to establish themselves in this league or make a name for themselves in this league. And they're going to do it maybe their own innovative way. I know Coach Cohen is, had some successes in offenses he's been a part of. Now he's trying to be a head coach. He want to have success in putting together a whole team. And Coach James, Mr. Gladstone, he, had some success over there in L.A. In the front office and stuff. He wants to, put it all together by himself over here. So kind of establishing themselves. I'm kind of a similar feeling, I'm sure, that when I first came in the league, establishing yourself, being hardworking, doing whatever it takes. That's kind of what they're implementing to the team right now.
There does seem to be a trend towards sort of younger guys. We've seen it over the last few years in coaching, but we're now also seeing it in sort of the front office. So kind of what have your interactions been maybe with James, who made quite an impression, not only in the draft, but like just as a person as well?
It's cool for me because he's from where I'm from. He's from St. Louis, Missouri. And I always shout out St. Louis anytime I can. So him being from St. Louis is crazy to me because, he probably, walked in the same steps that I walked in. Obviously, we went down different paths, but he's up there. I saw his high school clips on the internet the other day. And I'm like, I know that high school. Like, I played on that field, and it's really cool to see. And he's only like 4 or 5 years older than me. So he knows some people that I know in St. Louis. And just to see his success, I'm a big fan of his. And me being on his team, I want to make sure that I'm doing him right and he can have the utmost confidence and trust in me. But our interactions have been good. Like I said, I know where he's coming from and I feel how driven he is. I just want to play well for him.
In terms of sort of making an impression, he kind of went out there to say, we want to make a statement, and that statement was trading up to number 2, not just to number 2, but like not getting just anybody, getting Travis Hunter as well. Like, what do you feel that says about maybe the vision for the Jags now going forward?
To be honest, I feel like that's a statement to make us a much more desirable, watchable team as well as competitive. Obviously, we want to win first, but you should watch the Jaguars because we're going to put some good stuff on tape. I think that's kind of the message that we're sending with that pick too, as well as get as much talent in the room as possible. Obviously, I'm not the GM or the coach, but I feel like in terms of like how people perceive the Jaguars, I feel like you should want to, instead of being like, oh, the same old Jaguars or whatever that people say on the outside, people are going to have to come watch us. People are going to have to come play us. People are going to have to come beat us. So I think that's kind of what we're implementing right now. Or they're bringing to the facility right now. We just have to keep that mindset and make it a real thing.
It does feel like after Brian Thomas Jr. last year and Travis Hunter this year, there has been a bit of an offense-first kind of mindset. You're a defensive guy. How do you guys see that?
We brought in a DC, so I don't see that. I hope our offense does amazing because that makes the game easier for everybody. I think sometimes it gets lost that when the offense moves the ball, the defense, their stats can be better because, they put up points, they're passing, they're restricted in what they can do. So it kind of all goes hand in hand. They call that complementary football. But we brought in a new DC, and I like the energy that he brings, Coach Campanelli. I like what our front seven is doing right now. We've got good pieces there. And then talking about offense first, I mean, Travis can play defense as well.
Yeah, of course.
So, that was kind of a talent pick. He's very talented, very gifted, very bright mentally as well. But I think we have great pieces on defense to make a splash.
How has Travis been? Like, he seems a pretty electric type of presence, and that's just from the outside looking in. What's he been like?
I think that's cool because the outside looking in, he looks like that goofball, but he's very serious too. He dances to enjoy himself. He's out there in his own vibe, in his own world. That's cool. But like in the meetings, he's really locked in. He's talking about football and stuff. Like he's very dialed into being a professional athlete. So I think I see him as a young, hungry player. I think that, whatever the camera's like filming him dancing, and I love that he's dancing because the mental part of it, he's taking care of that as well. So he has good energy, though.
It does. He certainly seems like someone who has that kind of energy around him. There was a lot of hype around him in the draft, and obviously Shador as well. Less so about Cam Ward. Like, you were drafted yourself. How does that whole process play out when maybe the spotlight is on you, as it is for them, and maybe not so much for you or the sometimes the later round guys?
I think it could play into it just because it's kind of added pressure that you're putting on yourself to live up to that hype or live up to what people are expecting of you. I think that once you get in the building, I think the NFL does a good job of kind of putting everybody on the same level, same plane. It might take a year or something. Like, obviously the hype's going to follow you a little bit, but as soon as you're playing, it's about producing. And, all that hype doesn't really mean anything inside of the building. It's about being able to, let's say, a receiver run the route, catch the ball, the defensive lineman take on blocks, hold their gaps. And then, obviously, for a later round pick, they're very blessed to be in the building, but then it's the same thing. It's like, I'm more worried about doing the right thing to stay on the team, to remain within this, 53, 63 people year after year. So obviously the hype is very cool. It kind of gives you that added pressure, but I think the pressure of just doing right for your coach, doing right for the building, and then obviously to be on the team and your family, NFL, your family's looking at you, everybody from back home looking at you. But to be on the team is the name of the game. So that's really the pressure that you feel after you really get into it.
Speaking of entering the building, Cam has joined us.
Pleasure to join you, Foye. Pleasure to join you.
Nice seeing you, Cam.
Cam, first of all, I'm going to ask you what I asked Foye earlier, like how much you enjoying your trip to London.
Oh, can't say good enough things about this place. I love it. When we came here we came to 10 days last year,
right,
for the Wembley and then played in Tottenham. But I love it here. I've always liked European culture growing up. I was a big United fan growing up. Okay. Manchester's north, but even the culture of just being around England and London has been a blast. And if I could stay here for an extended period of time on top of it, I would. So I love it here.
Oh, we love to hear that. We like heading out as well. Like, as far as the Jags over here in London are concerned, me and Foye were just speaking about kind of that fan experience. It does feel like it's changed a lot over the last few years. There's a real grasp of like the NFL properly, if that makes sense. Yeah. I've covered it for sort of 10 or 15 years myself. What's your experience of the fans and how they take it on?
When we came here for, I think it was when we played the Bears, that stadium was full. Full to the brim between Jags fans and Bears fans. Obviously, it was kind of a surprise to me because, growing up, you don't think American football, is liked by a country that has so much cultural love for soccer football. And so when I came over here and I saw how passionate the fans were about American football, it was kind of a shock to me. I walk out there and the whole stands are filled, 20 minutes before kickoff. I think Griezmann was also at that game. So it's cool to see like a guy that plays soccer coming to an American football game. It's like, okay, the culture is really building here for American football. It's been a shock to me a little bit, but it's really cool to see, and I think it's only going to keep growing. We're adding more games, not only here in the UK, but all across Europe, and so it's really cool to see. What
about your own experiences growing up? Foye was telling me about how he played a lot of soccer. Did you play anything else?
I played soccer from 5 all the way till I was 16, 17. So I didn't pick up a football until I think midway through 16 years old. Right when I turned 17. So I had no aspirations to play American football at all. I wanted to play college soccer, and I hated football players. Sorry for you. Hated football guys because the football guys would always hate the soccer guys. Yep. And so
it's like football. It's like soccer and rugby.
Literally,
university over here.
And so I didn't have any aspirations to play American football. But I figured out quickly that I could kick an American football pretty far and pretty accurate. And so my school wasn't going to get paid for playing soccer. I like to think I was really good, but I wasn't as good as I was at kicking a football. So.
There's a real growing trend, right, though, of soccer players, 100%. But also the Irish guys from over here.
Oh, yeah, Charlie Smith.
Charlie's great.
Yeah, with Saints. Class. He's good. But, even from Gaelic football, rugby, Lewis can kick the football pretty well as well. There's a common trend that our soccer players are kind of going into the NFL, and like the likes of Brandon Aubrey, Cowboys kicker, he played at a really high level, played in the MLS and made the transition to the NFL as well. So, yeah, there's a big transition between that. A lot of similarities I think people would be kind of surprised about between kicking a soccer ball and a football.
Foye, I'm gonna come back to you. Just talk a little bit about you and your impact in the league. It's been a good off season for you. A new contract. As someone who was sort of drafted late, how pleasing for you to sort of be up there as sort of one of the standout linebackers in the league?
It's definitely been when I look outside in, like when I take a step back and look at it, the journey so far, it's definitely been an honor to be able to get in the league and then keep producing. It kind of like I was saying earlier, I think I put the pressure on myself just for getting on the team from that late pick. Did not know I was going to be selected. I thought I was going to be a free agent having to make my way on the team. So I kind of kept that mindset when I was picked by the Falcons back in the day just to make the team and do whatever was needed to continue to play. That kind of had me playing a lot of special teams the first couple of years, and then just kept learning. I switched to line because I played defensive back in college, so I was really learning a new position. Year after year, just keep learning, keep improving. And then when I got my chance to start, you have to take it and run with it, or they're gonna probably, not let you keep playing. So took the opportunity and did well with it, and then kept growing as a player, kept growing as a person. And then year after year, you kind of bring different things to the season. As you get older, you kind of have to increase your mental capacity of the game because you're not like a kid who can just run around all day. You have to really take care of your body so you're at the prime and ready to roll on Sundays. But it's just been take it day by day, year by year. Keep trying to improve on something every year, and then the contract and stuff, it all takes care of itself. But I think just really trying to be there, doing the right thing, trying to bring your team as many wins as possible is really the name of the game. And then obviously there's a little bit of luck being up at the right time and the contracts hitting at the right time. But that's the business side. You don't really take care of that. They take care of itself. So it's been cool.
We mentioned sort of Lewis as someone who's come into the league, and we've mentioned about the draft. When I was doing my research this morning, I was reading up on you, and you obviously came out of Yale, and sort of kind of when you were speaking about that at the time, it was almost like how difficult it is maybe for guys in the Ivy League. Can you kind of sort of just expand on that a little bit? How do you feel that works?
I mean, the Ivy League is kind of seen as a lesser talent league. Though they have some good talent, like the top half of the Ivy League is pretty talented. We just chose to indulge ourselves in school as well as football, because the chance of making it to the NFL is kind of small. Like for a college athlete, you just want to surround yourself with like the best opportunities of both worlds. Normal job-wise or NFL-wise, you still have a chance to make it, but you're kind of taking a little bit of a hit because scouts are assuming that you're playing less talent, if that makes sense. So also, we only played in the Ivy League 10 games, so they'll take those 10 games and say, you didn't play that much competition and then played less games, so we don't have that much film on you. It's just a lot of knocks when you come out of a league like that. But then, obviously, you have to run or test either the combine or your pro day, and then they'll see, okay, you are athletic. Then they'll go back to your tape and say, okay, this looks like what your tape was showing, or this, it's proving your athleticism. We'll give you a chance. But to get drafted as well, they know that other teams aren't trying to draft you early. So in order to get drafted, multiple teams have to want to draft you, if that makes sense. If one team wants to draft you, let's say, we'll just get them in free agency. So you're really kind of hoping that like multiple teams are willing to take a chance on you in order to get that draft call, which now is happening more and more because we're proving ourselves in the league. But at the time, I was like, I wasn't expecting to get drafted at all. I knew I was going to have to fight my way on the team. So definitely a blessing to get drafted, but I understood why. Like for some people, like, oh, they slighted me. They only like picked me in the 5th round, like a Shadur Sanders. They only picked me in the 5th round. I completely knew that my chances were going to be slim. So I was fine just being drafted.
Cam, what about your own experience of that whole process? How did you find it?
Yeah, it's so much different for specialists. You see maybe 1 or 2 guys every year get drafted. And sometimes there's been years. I mean, I could probably count 6-7 years where there's not been a specialist drafted at all. So that's a kicker, punter, or long snapper. So I came out of school a year early as well. So I did 3 years at Arkansas. Left school early, so I took a risk there coming out early. I thought, I was ready for the next level. And so that was kind of a big step for me. That was a big decision for me because one, if I leave school early and I don't get drafted, or a team, like Foye said, I'm going to be a later round draft pick. I'm not a priority for a team in rounds 1 through even 5, 6. So I was, going to have to live with the point of, if I don't get drafted or I get signed as a UDFA, I'm going to have to prove to someone that I need to be on a roster. And so, draft day was pretty stressful, because you can, Foye can probably attest to this as well. You can hear teams, oh, we're going to pick you at this pick. We're going to try and get you here because we think that's, where you're graded at. But no one knows. The only guy that knows is the guy who's picking you, if they're going to pick you or not. It was pretty stressful. I didn't think I was going to end up in Jacksonville. Yeah. I got worked out by a couple teams in the pre-draft process that were, in the market for kickers. Jacksonville was one of them, but I thought 2 other teams around the league were going to, take a chance. And they did take a chance on a kicker. Just wasn't me. And so Jacksonville ended up picking me at pick 212. And I was kind of frustrated because I wanted to be the first kicker off the board. Like, that's my goal. I'm just a competitive person. But I think it all worked out, really well. And I don't think I'd want to be anywhere else besides Jacksonville for a lot of different reasons. I think getting picked to the 3rd kind of put a chip on my shoulder as well. And it kind of, will put you in a place where it's like, okay, I need to earn this. Like, this isn't given to me at any point. I'm a later round draft pick. So like Foye said, I've got to do the right things around the locker room. Got to be where I need to be at the right times. It was a stressful day. The draft day is, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
And then you've gone on to obviously make a huge impression. I'm slightly obsessed by kickers. I don't know why. Like, I find it just like could be the best moment, right? At its purest form, you could kick the field goal that wins the Super Bowl or misses the Super Bowl. Like, that's a different type of pressure to maybe what these guys deal with.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, I can equate it to like a PK shootout. I was always really good at penalties in soccer. Penalties and free kicks were my 2 things that I was really good at. And so I always liked that pressure, that adrenaline rush you get right before that moment. So I think that probably equivalates to why I like pressure situations and field goals. It's something not everyone can deal with. Even sometimes I struggle with getting the anxiety and the nerves. But if you talk to any of my teammates, they know that I can't remember. If my brain wasn't in my head, then I would forget my brain. So I have short memory, and I can't. I could forget things quick. So I think that's probably why I find success in kicking, as well as I'm quick to forget if something bad does happen.
We spoke to Cam about what he's good at. Foye, you like to hit people, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that process.
It's kind of weird because, like, outside of the game, I guess I'm physical sometimes outside the game. But like the thought of it doesn't excite me that much, like running into people. Like, I still know that it's a car crash every time you hit somebody hard, so that doesn't really excite me. Like, people are like, are you so excited to put on the pads? I'm like, I'll put on the pads when it's time to put on the pads, There's some guys, I can't wait to put on pads. You're going to see a different version of me. I'm like, as you get older, you realize that's just rah-rah talk. Like, but I do know that when the pads come on and, like, somebody tries to run through me, like, a different version, like, I love it. Like, it's like a challenge. Somebody's trying to overpower you, and I just know that I put in a lot of work in my life, so I'm just not going to let that happen. So it's like thwarting somebody's attempts or somebody's wants success over me. I just like bringing them down.
What makes a good linebacker then? Because you said you transitioned as well from sort of defensive back.
I think a lot of it's mental in the NFL anyway, kind of understanding where the ball is going to be or where the ball will end up. Orchestrating the defense, making sure people are aligned right and in positions to be successful during a play. Because a lot of it's kind of like a quarterback a little bit. You have to really kind of position or make sure people are in the right positions a little bit, and then being able to expect what plays can happen out of how the offense lines up, or like what down it is. Let's say it's 3rd and long. They're probably going to run some kind of pass play. They might run a screen. So which ways they line up indicates they might run the screen here or something like that. So really being able to anticipate plays, I think, makes linebackers elite. Then you have like linebackers who just have some kind of trait of athleticism that makes them, tick, makes them elite that way. But I think just being all-around mental, athletic, and then kind of fearless, when the plays need to be made, throwing your body in there. I think, like I just said, I know it hurts, but for some reason I just don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? So getting that guy on the ground to me is more important than, first of all, it doesn't really hurt that much, but like after the game it will.
Speak for yourself.
That's what ice baths are for.
yeah, it's something exciting about that guy with the ball in his hand, bringing him down, or that guy going up for a pass, like being able to jar it loose with the head and stuff. That's really exciting to me. And then I think putting your body on the line to have success, when the ball's on the ground or when you're bringing the guy down, you're more excited than hurt or whatever. So that's always exciting to me.
We've spoken to Foye about the sort of new culture coming in at the Jags. Cam, you've arrived, so I'm going to ask you the same thing. Like, what are your early impressions of sort of Coach Cohen and James Gladstone?
Love it. A lot of energy, which is good. And I'm a very high energy person, so I like that kind of young. I mean, I'm 21, so I love a young crowd, someone that's going to bring in kind of energy even when the building feels stagnant. You feel like, oh, it's like a day where you don't got it. Well, the energy's still there every day. So we're out there working every day, especially during OTAs. I feel like my OTAs process this year was a little different than last year. I was here for a longer period of time, as well as, we're here a couple weeks earlier with the new staff coming in trying to learn. Obviously, defense is learning their new playbook. Offense is learning their playbook. Special teams, thankfully, we retained our special teams coordinator. He's always brought the energy. I've loved Heath ever since I got there. And so, it's a young culture, and I'm here for it. Like I said, love the energy. And I think we're close, a lot closer a lot closer now than we were when I first got here. So I love it.
What about one of the staples, if you like, has obviously been the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like, you only been with the team a year. How have you found him? His leadership seems, and I'm going to quote our producer here, Gabriel, it's like a more quiet leadership than maybe we see from some other quarterbacks. How do you find him in-house?
Yeah. Honestly, I've been around, 4 quarterbacks now through college all the way into the NFL, and I think Trevor does a fantastic job of leading. He's even see him at Clemson, always having the limelight on him. He handles it very well. Always in his playbook, always in there, extra, always in there. First one in, last one out type of guy. Trying to play golf on the weekends. Hey, you want to get on the golf? No, man, I got to get in my playbook, and I've got to figure things out. They're meeting extra on top of what already is extra on the offensive meetings. So I think he really does set an example of what it's like to be a very elite player in the NFL, not only quarterback, but just a player in general. He represents what we're trying to achieve at the Jaguars, and I can't say enough good things about him.
Foye, similar, like you've been with him for 3 years. Have you seen any changes in him as he's become more accustomed to the league? Yeah,
I've seen him grow a lot in the 3, so coming on 4 years now. Obviously, when I first got there, I think they had just went through a coaching change coming on to Doug. So the first 2 years, seeing new coaches and stuff can be they can take a toll a little bit. So see him coming into his own, getting his confidence back. Then we went to the playoffs that first year, to seeing him grow that way. Then the next year, we started off hot and then didn't make the playoffs. But, I'm seeing him start taking like more accountability and stuff, and then start to really own up to stuff, really start to, take the team for his own. And then coming into this year with this new coaching staff, like, he's learning every day. And I like that he's willing to be coached, not acting like he knows. He knows what he doesn't know and knows that he needs to improve. So I like that aspect of seeing that from him. And then, like I said, he's still growing and still becoming a better and better leader, becoming a little bit more vocal and stuff. So I'm excited to see where he takes the team.
And then final question, I'm going to come to you, Cam. You mentioned about the sort of the excitement and the energy and the culture. What has Travis Hunter brought to the table? Because for those of us who are obsessed by these guys who can do 2 different things with an NFL football, what's he been like to be around?
I mean, ever since he stepped foot in that building, he's always brought, like I said, the energy. He's dancing at practice, and he's got a confidence and kind of an aura about him that you kind of want in your first pick in the draft. And so I think it's a good thing, and I think it's contagious. I think it spreads to people around the team. And I think people can sometimes get the misconception that just because you're dancing and having fun at practice means you're not locked in, but I think it translates really well with him. I think the more relaxed he is on the field in that sense at practice, and you see these clips of him dancing and just having fun, I think the more fun and more locked in he's going to be on the field. Everyone does things different. Some guys are very serious at practice and have to lock in and don't do this dancing and having fun. But I think he's handled it very well, and even in the locker room, he's a very down to earth person. Likes to fish, likes to do everything that all these, just other normal people like to do, all of my teammates like to do. So, Yeah, he's been great.
For it feels like a really like exciting time to be a Jaguar at the moment. How would you kind of sum that up?
I hope it's exciting. Outside looking in, I'm in it. So I'm just excited to get back on the field and put a new product out there. I want to win more games. That's really what I'm excited. We have an opportunity to go out there and start the season off the right way. Outside looking in, we got a lot of new in the building, and I think we have a good energy. That the way that we practice, the way that we are going to play, a new energy that I feel like will be exciting the fans to watch, and I think it's going to be buzzing around the league. So I'm excited to put that out there.
Gents, enjoy the rest of your time in London, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for having us.